What up? We are DV, and today is Thursday, March 28th, no, 27th, and 2025, and I'm glad to be alive, glad to be here. I'm grateful for you tuning in, checking out what we might have to say. It's a beautiful day. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Show.
Today we're talking about brutal honesty, right?
Are you brutally honest? Are you brutally honest with yourself? Are you brutally honest with other people around you? Are you honest at all?
And I'm going to dive into the point about how brutal honesty can be helpful, or it can actually be, it can have the opposite effect on helping it all. Honestly, in my opinion, I think brutal honesty can be used in ways where it can be disguised as positivity, but really just has a very negative thing underneath it all. I've experienced it myself personally, right? I think there's a difference between just honesty, which I think is really just getting to it, as opposed to brutal honesty is really dancing around it and really disguising it as something with a more negative connotation behind it. I know in our society, people talk about brutal honesty, as if it's this valued thing that's so helpful. But really, I think it has a lot of problems with it. Do you want to talk about some of the problems, or you even see any problems with it?
There's problems with it. I think the problem can be when people say they want honesty or brutal honesty, when the reality is they not only can they not really, or they ready for honesty, but they damn sure can't deal with the brutal part. And the reason why I say that is because I think a lot of people think they want it, but they're not developed enough emotionally to just take the information as it is without being connected to it emotionally. It's pretty normal. A lot of people don't work on themselves enough to get to that place where they can just take the information. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nothing innately has a meaning. It's just a word or a sound. We assign it. We assign the feeling. You make a choice. For example, if someone comes by here and they say, "Man, you look fat in this shirt." Okay, they made a statement. Now I have a choice to take that or leave it. I don't even have to even listen to it. But if I'm gonna listen to it, I have a choice to let it hurt me, or I could just take it for what it is. I don't have to have a feeling about it either way, really. Well, it's in my hands.
On that subject matter, I really don't think that has anything to do with honesty. That's just an opinion. That's not really necessarily honesty. And not to mention, this is what I was talking about, is brutal honesty. That brutally honest, it really could just be disguised as somebody who really had intentions just to be negative. That's not the same as brutal. That's not the same as honesty.
No.
That's what I said. The problem with brutal honesty is it gets disguised as honesty when really it was the person passing off an opinion with negative intentions. That's what I say about the problem of brutal honesty. I wouldn't even view that as honesty. That's just an opinion.
I hear you. But I was just illustrating that you have the choice to feel a way about it or not. And that's really, at the end of the day, it's up to you. You know, it's just the word. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to.
Well, that's an opinion. I'm talking about honesty, though.
Okay, honesty is perceivable. So I think you could honestly just look at something and choose to accept it as real or not. It's up to you. You know what I mean? If you don't think that's true about yourself, then it probably shouldn't even affect you. Because at the end of the day, you can let it slide or fucking make your day. You know what I mean? Or break your whole situation. It's up to you is all I'm trying to say. First and foremost. So honesty is just a matter of what you choose to believe, is where I'm getting at. So yes, back to what I was saying, I think it could be hurtful if you're not ready for it. So be careful what you ask for in terms of honesty, especially asking for brutal honesty. If you're not at a place that you can just take that information without really, letting it emotionally affect you, then you probably shouldn't even deal with the truth at all. That's just a reality, I think, until you've developed enough to handle the truth. Another problem I see with brutal honesty is what he said in terms of people using it to hurt people. That people do that, yes, that is a fact, but that doesn't mean that every time someone is being honest with you, that they have bad intentions.
Well, that's why I said there's a difference between honesty and brutal honesty. what people call brutal honesty is really someone just being brutal. And that's what I'm saying. That's the problem, like we talked about in this video. The topic at hand is a problem with brutal honesty. The problem with brutal honesty, not honesty, because you're right. Honesty, you should be prepared for whatever the truth is, as long as it's the truth. But I'm talking about brutal honesty, which really is disguised, in my opinion, is someone who calls himself being positive, being helpful, when 9 times out of 10, it was most time people aren't even asking for it anyway. But other than that, it's really just someone disguising something as I'm trying to be helpful, and really you had every intention to be negative. That, like, to me, is the problem of brutal honesty. There's a big difference between brutal honesty and honesty. And honestly, I don't think there's ever been a point where brutal honesty is ever necessary. It really ain't. It's a word that I don't know where it came from, but I don't think it's a necessary thing anyway. It's really as simple as either you're being honest or you're not being honest. It's that simple. Brutal honesty doesn't really exist. Brutal honesty is someone just trying with intention to be negative. That's what I think. So
I was wondering if you guys might have an extra lighter.
Extra lighter?
I mean, y'all brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
if you got yours, I'll give it mine if you have
Let
one.
me see. I think I threw that shit away.
Excellent. What's that, a 21 on your eye?
21.
That's on your eye right there?
I got a few things in my eye.
Yeah, so I have the same one. I have a 21 right here too.
So I got 22 right here.
For real? I love you guys.
All right, you
Too,
too,
bro.
Have a good day.
Take care, bro.
Good brother, that's
Most
good.
that. But yeah, so now the upside to honesty is that it keeps you aligned. It keeps you honest with yourself, and it keeps you honest with about the reality of your situation. You know what I mean? Like brutal honesty, in my opinion, has helped me become a stronger person. It made me have thicker skin. So, you know, and it also helped me understand that, like I said earlier, at the end
What
of
makes it brutal to you?
I mean, like I said, brutal is just about, I guess, brutal, I think, in my opinion, saying the word brutal honesty is just another way of saying really honest.
Nah, that's
You
what
know
I'm saying.
mean?
That's what but see, that's
I
the
don't-
that's the tricky thing about this brutal honesty. I really think it's as simple as honesty, because honesty doesn't really care about how you feel.
You know what I really think?
Honesty
Here,
doesn't-
let me
hold on,
look. I think honesty is when it doesn't hurt, and brutal
Nah.
honesty is when it hurts.
Nah.
That's why.
All right, well, that's your opinion. My opinion is honesty doesn't really care about whether it hurts or not. It's just honest. Then brutal honesty is with someone who has the intention to be negative, the intention to hurt.
You said it like 4 times.
I'm telling you, that's the difference between brutal honesty.
Okay.
So I said there's honesty, which is doesn't care if it hurts or not. Doesn't matter if it hurts or not. That's just the truth. But brutal honesty is, yeah, you had intention to be hurtful, but you're disguising it as if I'm just telling the truth. And that's why I don't like about it.
So honesty keeps you on the good side of things. On the upside, it also keeps you honest with yourself. And honestly, I think it gives people reassurance about you. I think it makes people trust you. You know what I mean? Like if you're honest enough with yourself, like, you know what I mean? They know that you have a good sense of I guess, perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I would be more comfortable trusting someone's perspective if they just saw things how they saw it and that's how they said it. They didn't add no extra. I would feel more comfortable and trusting in someone's opinion of someone that had that type of perspective, that type of honesty with themselves
Yeah. Me, I don't really ask for
about the world around.
I don't really trust people's opinions. I trust the facts. If you can come at me with some facts, I can trust that. But person's opinion, it's subjective. So it's like I don't really hold a lot of value in people's opinions. I don't care who it is. I really don't hold a lot of value in people's opinions. And like I told you, once again, a lot of times people, that's what I'm saying. Even once back on this brutal honesty thing, it's really just a lot of times it's someone passing an opinion on someone, calling themselves being helpful. But there's really no helpful thing behind it. It's just I'm passing off an opinion that really is just really causing misunderstandings, causing all kind of issues. There's really no positive thing behind it. You know what I mean? That's the problem with that brutal honesty that we talk about once again. So I don't really value opinions. I value facts. So if someone is, matter of fact, I feel like if someone really had intentions of helping you, they would come with facts, not with how I feel about something. You know what I mean? I see no value, and don't see how that can be helpful at all. In fact, I think it can tear down relationships. I'm sure I see a lot of people deal with that as well, with their partner saying, "Hey, you know, I'm only trying to help you," and then it's really all they're doing is just giving you all the things that they don't like about you, all the things that they, just. It's like, where's the thing that's helping that person? How are you helping by telling someone your opinion about what you don't like about them? at least follow up with facts about how to make it a better situation.
I agree.
Just giving your opinion and calling it brutal honesty is not positive. It's not helpful at all.
But look, what if the person when they're saying what they're saying to that person, they're being honest, and that's what honesty means. It means they're being
honest opinions.
No, just listen. They're coming from an honest place with what they're saying.
What their opinion is.
I mean, that's still honesty, though.
But like I said, opinions.
You know, like,
well, okay, and if that helps you, fine. But I'm saying on me, a personal level, opinions have never been helpful for me. Opinions don't matter to me. They don't hold value. I need facts. If someone was to come in with me some facts.
We're talking about honesty right now.
We're talking about
facts.
Yes, we are, because like I said, honesty, honest facts, not honest opinions. I don't care about opinions. For me, that doesn't help me.
To me, honesty just means someone's being honest with what they're doing. I don't know about all the
You can be honestly trying to hurt someone. Does that matter? I don't want. That's not positive.
Still honest.
Well, that don't value.
Some people are real good. Some people are real bad.
So if we're talking about honest, there's gonna be some caveats with that too. Then there's gonna be some things that doesn't just all honest. Put it like this: all honesty. Then in that case, all honesty isn't necessarily positive. Because right now it sounds like you're painting honesty is always going to be positive, and it's not true. It's not going to be helpful.
I just think it depends on how you take it. You know, how you choose to take it. You can choose to take it as an insult. You can choose to take it as a compliment. That's all perspective. That's what life is anyway. I mean, it's still up to you. You know what I mean? That doesn't innately mean that's what somebody's intentions was. You could have just people. That's what I mean. Like that's why I said it's important to heal yourself. You have to work on yourself. So when someone says something, so you're not easily triggered by things. You shouldn't be triggered by past things if the idea is to grow as a person. If you're 40 and you're still hurt by something that happened when you were 12 and you're still triggered by that thing, you haven't grown that much. Do you think?
I think whether you're triggered by it or not triggered by it still doesn't take away the fact that this person that claims to be helpful to you has every intention of being negative. That's what I'm speaking on. Regardless of what,
they may
regardless of what I'm saying is that doesn't take away the fact that whether you're triggered, let's say you are healed by it, right? Let's say you are healed by it, and it no longer triggers you. Does it make it any better that you're keeping someone like that around that still has every intention on being negative, knowing that it's trying to hurt you, but disguising it as being positive? That's not good. That's what I'm speaking on.
I mean,
I don't think it matters whether or not. I don't think it matters whether or not the person's healed or not. I think what it matters is the subject at hand, talking about honesty. When you're talking about honesty, it doesn't matter about what person's healed or not. It matters about what is your intention here. What is this person's intention?
For sure.
That's what I'm speaking on. I don't think you can just wipe away. Oh, well, it's because what that means is deflecting. Oh, well, it just because it hurts you, so apparently you're not healed from it. It still doesn't take away. Your intention was negative.
I mean,
that doesn't take away that.
It doesn't. But the reality, but the reality is, if a person had actually dealt with these sort of things,
so once again,
listen.
I feel like it's blaming the other person.
No, it's not about blame. This is about perception. So I'm saying sometimes people will perceive things a certain way because something that happened to them. And just because what's going on outside there doesn't mean that's exactly what that is.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we just perceive things the way because we're triggered by things that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And we connect that to that thing that's going on right now.
100%.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going on.
Doesn't necessarily. Not necessarily.
You know what I mean?
Or it could be the other side, like I just said. It could be very well that exactly what I just saw. He had it, or she had intentions on being that way. And I don't think it's just fair to go, oh, well, that's just because they ain't healed from whatever. That's an EV. I don't think that's not. I think it's irresponsible to do that.
Okay,
I really do.
But at the end of the day,
that doesn't help
at the end of the day, as individuals, I'll speak for myself. My main goal is to grow. So all I'm saying is, if someone wants to grow in life, it only behooves you to stop holding on to something from the past in general. However long it was, or whatever it was. If it happened in the past, you need to let it the fuck go so it doesn't sting today. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. But hold on, I'm not done yet. And with honesty will remind you of that if you're being honest. And that's how you know the difference. If it doesn't sting a little, it probably ain't being real enough with yourself then. Because reality is sometimes ugly, and that is the truth. It ain't always beautiful.
Yeah, whether it stings or not I'm not talking about that. You know? It's as simple as being able to see whether or not the person has intentions. We're talking about intentions. Whether a person has intention or not. It may not sting at all. There's been many times where the person did what they said to me, I had no feeling at all behind it. I had no feeling reaction to what they said. But it doesn't take away the fact that I still understood that you had every intention on trying to be hurtful and not helpful. That's what I'm speaking on. I really am not going to get caught up into whether the person felt a certain way or not. Because that doesn't really it has nothing, that's not even touching the fact that what this other person's intention was, right? So I'm saying, I say, all right, yeah, maybe you should work on yourself and make sure you don't get triggered by certain things. Cool. But also, I think a bigger thing is pay attention to what people. Just because they said something doesn't necessarily mean that's what their intention was. Just because they said they were trying to be helpful doesn't mean they were trying to be helpful. Just because they were trying to say, I was trying to help you in a situation, doesn't mean that was actually what they were trying to do. So what I'm saying is be conscious and pay attention to what people do, not what they say. Because a lot of times people will come with that, I'm trying to be helpful, and really they had no intention to help at all. Pay attention to that. Okay? So yeah, work on your triggers, work on whatever it is that you haven't healed from. I think that is important, but I think it's even more important to pay attention to those who claim that they're here to help you, when really the real point of it was nothing but negativity. Nothing but negative. A lot of times it's deflection. A lot of times it's projection. A lot of times it's projection. Something that's going on with them, but they're trying to place it onto you. Pay attention to that. Because a lot of times that will come disguised as, I was just trying to help. And a lot of times you didn't even ask for the help. So how's that work, right?
So back to
pay attention
honesty.
to
That is the honest reminder that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's perceived as good, sometimes it's perceived as bad. But the honest truth is, it just is. That is the honest part. The reality is, whatever was said, whatever you heard, however you took it, it just was. You made a choice, or didn't, to see it a certain way. That's all it is, really. So when you're thinking in terms of honesty, and you want to be honest, when you're asking for honesty, ask yourself, are you really ready for it? Or do I really want honesty? You see what I'm saying? Because you can't ask for things that you're not willing to give a person. It's not a fair exchange. So just keep that in mind when you're asking about or talking about or trying to be honest, all right? Because what you put out is what you're gonna get. It's that simple.
And I do want to touch on this once again. You can ask for honesty, but be careful of people who always got some what they call honesty and really just an opinion, and you didn't even ask for it. So pay attention to those people, because it's unnecessary, and you might want to cut those people out of your life. Because like I said, I agree with him. If you want honesty, you got to take it how it comes. But there's also that other slippery slope where people can abuse that and call it honesty, and really, just like I told you, had no positive intentions behind it. But it's very hard to see at one point, because you think, oh, it's just being honest. But you pay attention to it. You'll see what I'm saying.
This reminds me of I remember a time I had an ex-girlfriend. She would tell me, she would act like, so she would go on these like diet things and these little kicks where she would go, lose weight here and there, or try some new diet, some new pill or whatever, try to lose weight. And every time she would do a new one, she would be like, don't let me eat this, or tell me if I'm doing this wrong, or tell me if I'm eating too much, or I'm starting to look fat. And every time I made the mistake of actually being honest, like she asked. Now I'm the bad guy. So keep that in mind, people. Guys out there, when your girl asks you shit like that, be careful, because she might, even though she said she want honesty, she may not necessarily want honesty. And it's unfortunate, because like I said, you want to be honest because you love the person, and they ask you to be honest. But then people are people, and they have emotions, and and they might have a sensitivity about certain things. And by just, even though they ask you to remind them of something, or tell them about something, whatever they're going through, you might have said something at the wrong time, the wrong day, whatever, they might take it the wrong way. But at the end of the day, don't let that deter you from being an honest person. If they ask you to be honest, you be honest with them, because you're an honest person. At least you're trying to be. See, honesty goes in that way. It's not just about saying things, it's about being a way too.
It also goes both ways. Pay attention to the fact that it's a lot of times it could be those people who claim they're being honest. Well, you better check them, because what you might see is they weren't even prepared for honesty either. It's easy to tell you to be honest, but be honest with them. Make sure you give it right back. Be honest with them and see the reaction is.
For sure.
Because a lot of times you'll see that they weren't prepared for it either. It's like, you see all these famous motivational speakers and shit. They kick all that shit to you, right? But when the table is turned, are they prepared for it? And you'll see. A lot of times they ain't. So once again, pay attention to that as well.
So two things: don't dish it out if you can't take it. Don't ask for it if you're not really ready for it. Think about that before you do that.
For sure.
So, look here, man. At the end of the day, when it comes down to being honest, the main person you gotta be honest with is your damn self, no matter what. So look here, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for even thinking about us and tuning in and listening to what we have to say. If you gained anything from what we said today or any insights, man, holla back, get at us in the comments. I appreciate you, man. Like, share, subscribe. We are DV, and I love myself, and I also love you. And I'm able to love you because I love myself. So love yourself for yourself.